What's up, my comic comrades? We all know that Marvel is getting ready to reveal some major storylines around Doctor Strange in the MCU, starting in Spider-Man No Way Home. But there are also some big things happening with the Sorcerer Supreme in Marvel Comics, and today we're gonna dive into some of it with a look at the brand new series, The Death of Doctor Strange. That's right, Marvel has killed off its Sorcerer Supreme, and we're gonna find out how. But before we dive in, we wanna thank Keeps for sponsoring today's episode. For many of us guys, thinning or receding hair is a fact of life, but with Keeps, you could actually do something about it and keep your head hairsicles flowing. Keeps makes it easy too with a simple 3-step process. Just go to keeps.com/variant comics and start by setting a time to talk with a licensed doctor online. The doctor will then review your information and recommend the best hair loss treatment plan for you. After that, you'll skip the lines at the pharmacy because your treatment will be delivered right to your front door every 3 months. And because Keeps offers generic versions of the FDA-approved medications for hair loss, you'll also keep some extra coin in your bank account as well. But once you get your prescription in hand, all you have to do is follow your prescribed plan and start tracking your progress. As always, it's important to remember that Keeps treatments typically take between 4 to 6 months to see results, so you want to get started as soon as possible. Keeps will also have your back all along the way with 24/7 access to your Keeps doctor, who could answer any questions you might have. What we're saying is there's a reason Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. In fact, you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of men who already trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention. So if your hair is starting to play the vanishing act, just jump over to keeps.com/variant comics or just click our link in the description to get 50% off your first order of hair loss treatment. Again, that's keeps.com/variant comics. You can thank us later. But now let's see what happens in the first 2 issues of The Death of Doctor Strange. The comic starts off with Doctor Strange giving us narration as we see him asleep in bed. He's saying, Kashi the Deathless, I've always been fascinated with him, a character out of Slavic legend. Kashi was immortal, so they said. The reason for this was that he removed a small piece of himself, a small piece of his life. His soul. And so long as nothing untoward happened to his soul, then he could not die. And he's narrating all this as we see his ghost dog Bats wake him up to get him out of bed to go for a walk. But Strange says not only do you have no biological need for walkies, you're also perfectly capable of taking yourself out. But Bats says, yeah, my biological need for walkies disappeared around the time my heart gave out and I died from not enough walkies. Do you want your heart to pop at 17? The walkies are for you, Doc. Let's go. Up and at him. As Doctor Strange brushes his teeth, he looks at a picture of Clea, his lady love. While continue to narrate talking about Kashi saying, he took that soul, his soul, and hid it in a needle. He hid this needle in an egg, and the egg in a duck, and the duck in a rabbit, and the rabbit in a chest. And he hid that chest somewhere deep and dark where no one might find it. Kashi was immortal, deathless, and went on to pester various protagonists of Slavic myth. Strange finally makes his way down to the kitchen where Wong offers him breakfast, but he says, no, just coffee, please. As the two talk about how Strange no longer speaks like he did when he first came back from the Ancient One's tutelage, Strange continues to narrate the comic saying, I was a child when I first encountered the myths of Kashi. It stuck with me. The story of how I ceased to be a surgeon, the obsession with money, status, and fame, and the accident. It's well known at this point, but none of that mattered to me when I began my path in medicine. No, my motivations then, well, some of them came from Kashi. I wanted to cheat death. There was an element of arrogance there, certainly. A human life held in your hands, and I had such hands. Recent events have returned those hands to me, and I have returned to surgery, my first love, my first art. I spent so much time as a mystic sorcerer and a superhero that it all feels new to me again. I find myself getting nervous like I did when I was a student, when I was fresh to the knife, when I had just entered into Kashi's pursuit to preserve life without an artifice and skill I could muster. As Strange continues to self-reflect, telling us about his love for being a surgeon, as well as how magic taught him the one thing medicine never did. Humility. He continues saying, decades may have passed without my practicing medicine, but I never stopped being a doctor. I am the Sorcerer Supreme. The world is my patient. At this point, Doctor Strange goes to assist the man who's being possessed by Rasputin. The man is all like, it's dying. Can you hear it screaming? How can you not hear screaming? Strange walking towards him says, is it Mr. Plotnik? That's who you really are. Let me help you, Mr. Plotnik. I am a professional. Mr. Plotnik then looks at him saying, I just wanted power, just a little. I just wanted to be taken seriously. Strange asks, where did you go for this power, Mr. Plotnik? What is dying? The man replies, 2 questions, 1 answer, Cinnabus. Strange then says, you linked yourself to the 7 sons of Cinnabus, the dimension in the Celestial of Concordance? I don't understand, Mr. Plotnik. The dimension is dying. The man then says, all I can hear are its death screams as they eat it. Help me, Strange. I beg you. Strange then tells him, I'm going to sever the connection like surgery. Have no fear. Then on the next page, we see Strange do just that, saying a routine bit of surgery. Simply clamp off the conduit at the base of Mr. Plotnik's astral form, and then again, to prevent the power of the 7 sons of Cinnabus from escaping and wreaking havoc. And then all that remains is is the cut. After Doctor Strange saves this man, we see him at Strange Academy lecturing his students, telling them what a Sorcerer Supreme is and how he's not the first and he will not be the last. For those of you curious of Strange's breakdown on what a Sorcerer Supreme is, he says the office of the Sorcerer Supreme is a recognition of magical primacy. As the Sorcerer Supreme of the Earth Dimension, I am granted access to great wellsprings of power unavailable to other practitioners of the mystic arts. But with this power also comes grave duties. To be Sorcerer Supreme is to be part of the planet's natural defenses. As the world's ozone layer blocks ultraviolet radiation, as the Earth's magnetic field prevents solar winds from stripping the planet's atmosphere away, so does the Sorcerer Supreme maintain the barrier, a master spell that strengthens the boundaries between our dimension and the outer planes. The Dark Dimension, the Celestial Concordance, the Consecution of Colors, all have attempted invasions of Earth's dimension in the past. While travel among dimensions is possible, the barrier prevents an invasion en masse. It's not perfect as the War of the Realms proved, but it remains a vital part of our world's defenses nonetheless. I don't tell you this because I enjoy talking about myself and the esoteric titles I've accrued. I tell you this because there is every possibility that the next Sorcerer Supreme is in this room. He goes on to say, the Vishanti will call for another test in due time, and at the end, it may not be Stephen Strange left standing. Or more simply, one of my enemies may just kill me. Anyway, after this, Strange is called to the baseball diamond of the school as he is needed to help assist Magic, the Sorcerer Supreme of Limbo, with the demonic raiding party from Limbo at his school. But before Strange and Magic can send them back to where they came from, Strange asks, why are you here at my school? The demon tells him, we harvest the souls of the Earth children to sate his hunger, so that we may be spared. Anyway, after this is taken care of, we get a montage of panels where Strange says, my responsibilities never end. My life gives me gifts every day. I have met incredible and unique people from across every known universe, made friends, companions, lovers, but I've also lost them. Kashi succeeded in cheating death, but to do so, he still needed to carve out his own soul. Kashi could live forever, but a man without his soul, can he truly be said to live? While he narrates this, we see Strange giving himself a magical foot bath. Said foot bath is interrupted by a knock on the door, and when Doctor Strange goes to answer the door, he uses his magic to put on his Sorcerer Supreme garb. And when he opens the door, he says, how odd, what are you doing at my doorstep? It's been a long day, and at which point a voice interrupts him saying, your last day, as we see a massive flash of light and color at his front door. Then on the next page, Doctor Strange is fighting whatever just arrived at his front door, saying, it's good my friends aren't here. They couldn't help me. This is beyond them, but I want them here with me though. We then see whoever this being or person is magically binds Strange to the wall while walking towards him with a dagger. Strange then looks at this person saying, go on then, but be warned, this will not end the way you wish. As he says to himself, I want my friends here. It's selfish, but I just don't want to die alone. And on the next page, we see characters like Wong, Thor, Magic, Mr. Fantastic, Dr. Voodoo, and so on feel an imbalance and shift in the world as their friend passes. At which point they ultimately find him stabbed in the chest dead at the Sanctum Sanctorum. As they're all mourning their friend, Baron Mordo shows up pissed off saying, there is nothing I desired more than Strange's death, but by my hands, no others. He was mine to kill. Mordo and his sidekick argue with Wong and Doctor Strange's allies as we get more narration from Strange saying, Kashi, the Deathless, a man who severed his soul and hid it so that he might live forever. A stunt that I never achieved. But once when I was much younger, in case I might be killed in the future, I did something close. As we see a young Doctor Strange walk out of a magic portal telling everyone, if I have been released, then the worst must have happened. We must move quickly. There isn't much time. Tell me what year it is. And with that, issue 1 ends. This brings us to issue 2. It starts off with more narration from Strange saying, Agamon was the first to strike. The Gobi Desert shook as a vast swath of the purple dimension was transplanted across the shattered barrier. The Dagoth was next. He raised the sunken city of Kalumesh from the seafloor off the coast of Cornwall, calling due archaic blood deaths from the old families who still remembered their ancient allegiance is to him. Tibero claimed his ancient territory in the jungles of Peru, while Umar, never one for socializing, manifested a portion of her kingdom in Antarctica. Essentially, since the Sorcerer Supreme is dead and the Earth's magic barrier is down, a bunch of other warlords from other dimensions are taking their claim across the world. Meanwhile, this young Doctor Strange says, I fear there are some of you I do not know. I apologize for the strangeness of my entrance. As Wong, Dr. Voodoo, and Mordo kind of look at Strange with confusion and shock. Mordo says, what is this trickery, Strange? And as Strange kneels down next to his dead body, he says, the purple dimension. I fear that was after my time. It all comes down to time. 7 days to be precise. Wong then asks, Stephen, please explain. So he does, saying 1 week, Wong, and what I could only assume was many years ago to all of you, I severed 1 week from my personal timeline, cut it from my lifespan, and I hid it away secret from all, like a needle inside an egg, inside a duck, inside a rabbit. A contingency, a precaution, so that if I were to die, a part of myself, a temporal remnant, could ensure that my affairs would be put in order, that my killer was brought to justice. So basically, Doctor Strange did some sort of spell or magic years ago that stole a week from his life so that if he was to die, this part of himself, this temporal remnant, would ensure his affairs would be in order, but also that his younger self could bring his killer to justice. It's really cool. Anyway, at this point, Stephen starts talking to Captain America over comms, and Cap says, Strange, we need you to get it together. We have multiple invasions from different dimensions ongoing. This is your wheelhouse. Doctor Strange tells him, the Stephen Strange you know has been killed, Captain. As it appears you were friends. Allow me to offer my condolences. I am an expert of our timeline, kept in reserve in order to investigate my own murder. In regards to the invasion, we must summon the Sorcerer Supreme. That is the responsibility of their station. Who is the Sorcerer Supreme of this time? At which point everyone looks at him like you were. Realizing this, he's basically like, holy crap, there is no Sorcerer Supreme. We are undone. Strange and Captain America continue to talk a little bit more, but Cap ultimately says, we need to talk in person. We're on our way, referring to the Avengers. At this point, Stephen starts hearing voices saying his name, but also saying, they're coming for me. I need you. I'm coming to you, Stephen. So he walks outside saying, who? He then looks up as a woman falls into his hand saying, Stephen, I knew you would be here to catch me. And we see this woman is Clea, his wife, but she realizes he's not the real Stephen. So Wong asks, what is happening? The warlords of the Outer Planes have invaded. She tells him they are not invading, they are fleeing. Wong asks, fleeing from what? Fleeing from whom? She answers, the mothers, the three mothers, the weird, the crown, the crawling. They have the scent of me. They're hunting dogs and their child's appetite will never be sated. Which is the same thing those demons from Limbo told Strange in issue 1, that his hunger will not be sated. Anyway, at this point, the three mothers introduce themselves coming out of a magical portal saying, so this is where the prey has all fled to. Can you smell it, sisters? Can you taste it? The richness of it? Magic. Strange says, be gone, monsters. This woman is under the protection of Doctor Strange, master of the black magic. Mordo then says, I've forgotten that you used to call yourself that, because remember, this is a past version of Doctor Strange. As the three mothers try to intimidate them by saying, we've annihilated 1,000 magi like you, the Avengers show up with Captain America saying, yes, and here's your only warning. They don't stand alone. Avengers, assemble. This obviously leads to a battle with Earth's magic users and the Avengers against the three mothers. But the three mothers get the upper hand saying things like, there is such magic, such a feast for our sweet child. At which point they leave with one of the mothers replying to the other one saying, oh sister, contain your enthusiasm. We have tested this world's defenders. Now let us return. Our poor sweet child, left unattended. I worry so. With the last mother saying, keep the woman morsel, Magi. We will return for her in good time, as we will return for you all. After all, anticipation is the best seasoning. And with that, the comic ends with our heroes shocked and fearful. But there you have it, friends, issues 1 and 2 of The Death of Doctor Strange. I actually think this series is off to a decent start. I'm very curious to see where it goes from here, as it's only a 5-issue miniseries. So we only have 3 issues left, but I can't wait to see how it gets resolved because we know Doctor Strange has to come back in some form or another. Maybe this remnant of him sticks around or the old one comes back. We're just gonna have to wait and see, but let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And that brings today's episode of Variant to a close. But if you like today's video, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It always helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.